I don't know the Muffin Man, but we're going to make muffins today. There's some rather bad news over the weekend. I heard that somebody broke into the Swedish chef's house and stole a few items, including his famous rolling pin, which... So anyway, if anybody has seen any of the Swedish chef's item, his chef's toque is missing, and I heard they even clipped his mustache in his sleep. But yeah, if you happen to see any of his things or his famous rolling pin, you might give the police a call. Anyway, today we're going to make what I like to call, what do I like to call them? Well, they're Glennis's, I call them Glennis's muffins because they're her favorite muffin. So I think they're actually called carrot pineapple muffins. But anyway, you call them whatever you want, they're really good. And again, this recipe can be made with sugar or Splenda. Today I'm going to make them with Splenda because that's better for my wife, being a diabetic. And she told me to tell everybody that normally muffin tops are kind of crisp. These will be when they first come out of the oven using Splenda, but they won't stay that way. They won't go mushy, but they won't stay quite as crisp. If you use sugar, they will, just like a normal muffin. It's the sugar that gives them that sort of hard texture. So, without any further ado, let's get started putting our ingredients together. Alrighty, I'm just going to lower the camera here a little bit. There we go. I could kneel down here and then we could title this Dorf Makes Muffins, but I don't really like getting flour up my nose, so I'll stand up. Alrighty, our first ingredient is 1½ cups of flour. Second ingredient is a ½ cup of Splenda or sugar. You can use Splenda or white crystallized sugar. Okay, our third ingredient is a tablespoon of baking powder. Fourth ingredient is, not a tablespoon, I'm sorry, it's a teaspoon of baking powder. Next ingredient is a teaspoon of baking soda. Then we want to add, just going down my list here, 2 teaspoons, that's 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And a ½ teaspoon of ground cloves. Boom. And our last dry ingredient is a ½ teaspoon of salt. So there we have it. And you take your trusty whisk. And yes, you're right, that isn't the whisk I normally use, but I used my other whisk earlier. I have several whisks, but my favorite one I used earlier, and so it is currently in the dishwasher. I'd like to tell you it's taking a tropical vacation, but it is somewhere that'll be warm, and there will be water, but I don't think it's the kind of vacation I'd want. Anyway, there we go. We get that all blended well together. And then, this is a really easy recipe. That's all we need the whisk for. Put that away. Then we just start adding our wet ingredients. So we want two eggs, as always. We take them out of the shell. Reduce the amount of crunch. So 2 eggs. Don't even need to beat them first. You need 1 cup of crushed pineapple, undrained. You want the juice. It adds to the moisture in the pineapples. So 1 cup of undrained pineapple. You want ½ cup of canola oil or vegetable oil. Again, this is a recipe you don't want to use things like sesame seed oil or olive oil for. It would taste rather strange. So ½ cup of vegetable oil. Just need to wash my hands here now. Washed them before, but I'll wash them again because they're all oily. maybe too meticulous for most of you as cooks, but there we go. Our next ingredient is a cup, no, sorry, it's 2 cups of shredded carrot. They are, after all, carrot pineapple muffins. Now, if you don't like pineapple, or don't have any, you can replace it with applesauce, or mushed up strawberries, or raspberries, or blueberries, or you can use almost anything in place of it. Well, I guess I should say almost anything. But any other kind of fruit in place of the pineapple. And the final wet ingredient is 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And the last ingredient I put in, which is totally optional, is I put in chopped pecans. Now, you could use chopped walnuts or skip the nuts altogether. And then we take our trusty fork and we just start blending all of that together. So it's just that easy. Just dump everything, mix your dry ingredients, dump everything else in the bowl, and just start blending. Again, this is a mix you could do in the Mixmaster if you want to. If I used the Mixmaster for this, you wouldn't be able to hear me talking. Or maybe you could if I yelled, I don't know. But there we go, we just blend that all together. And I want to say hi to somebody special who is one of my most loyal fans. Hi Savannah, hi Cindy. Hope things are well down there in Nevada. And you'll give this recipe a try. So there we go, we got them all blended together, it's just that easy. Take that off of there. This will make a dozen muffins, or maybe a few more, depending how big you want your muffins to be. If you're just making muffin tops, then of course you're going to get a whole lot more. Oh, oops, a daisy. Yeah, muffin papers for the garbage. So I'm using muffin papers. You can, if you have non-stick muffin pans and prefer not to use papers, you can do that. Just put them right into the, oops, so there's that piece of contraband, yes, but you know. And so we just now start filling our muffin papers with our mixture. And you want to fill them about 2/3 full. I think I'm going to get more than a dozen here, maybe. Looks just like I might. Again, like I say, this is one of those recipes I like because you can use either sugar or Splenda. The only time you can't really use Splenda is if you're doing a recipe that has yeast in it, because the yeast needs the sugar to truly activate and to rise. But most other recipes, if they call for sugar, you can use Splenda. Even brown sugar recipes. The only thing is with brown sugar Splenda is far sweeter than brown sugar. So you have to, there's a guide on the brown sugar Splenda bag that tells you how to adjust. The first time I used brown sugar Splenda, I thought it was just like regular Splenda, and so did my normal cup for cup, so to speak. And my goodness, what I made was so sweet we couldn't eat it. Well, we did. We did eat it. We forced ourselves to suffer through the sweetness, but it was far too sweet. And that's when I discovered my mistake. Things in there. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you, I will put it at the beginning of the video, is you want to preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And I didn't even do that, now I think about it. 325, start, there we go. I forgot all about that. Good thing I talked to myself there. Now, sometimes you just have to sit yourself down and have a good talk with yourself. I totally messed this one up. in there. Alrighty. No, I haven't been in the cooking sherry. There we go. Alright, this is going to make more than a dozen. This is one of those odd recipes that actually makes more than it says. I'll sit there. I'm just going to have to get out another muffin tin. Do I have another muffin tin? I don't believe I do. I don't, now I think about it. I used to have another muffin tin, but I don't know. There it has disappeared to. Well, we'll have to wait till this one bakes, and then we'll refill this one. But anyway, that's a very simple recipe. Anyone can make it because you don't have to worry about any special mixtures or ingredients. So I hope you'll give this a try. We'll be back once these are baked, but I don't want you to have to wait while the oven preheats and then we'll leave it bake. You have to bake them, I guess I'll give you that piece of information, but you bake them for 35 to 40 minutes. So you can see we're probably looking at 50 minutes to an hour while we wait for the oven to preheat and then bake these. So, tell you what, you go take a nap, read a book, go for a walk, and I'll be back when these are baked. Alrighty. Well, we're back. The muffins are almost ready. We're down to 30 seconds on the clock here and counting. Got some good news. Turns out that it was the Swedish chef's wife who trimmed his mustache. She said it was getting too bushy, and no one had actually broken into their house. He'd left his toque and his rolling pin at the studio. So, phew, what a relief. And the rolling pin that I had there, turns out, was my wife's mother's that she had had in the cupboard down here. She was looking for something else and accidentally left it on the counter. Sam came by for coffee this morning, and I thought maybe he'd been the one that had broken into the Swedish chef's house and perhaps left the rolling pin here to try and incriminate me. But we are free and clear. Alrighty, let's check our muffins here. Comes out clean, so they are done. I did find my other muffin tin. And so as you can see, these are, I made them a little on the smaller side, but there we go. And we ended up with a 16 muffins. So that's a very simple recipe. It's a very healthy muffin. You can do with it as you wish, but if you want to put icing on top and spoil it, you can. Good. But there we are. A simple recipe for this week is crushed pineapple and carrot muffins. So I hope you'll give the recipe a try. Again, you can use Splenda or sugar, either one. And remember, if you use Splenda, they will not keep the crunchy top. The top will go soft like the rest of the muffin. They're still good, but they won't hold their top. One last thing, I would just ask you all to keep a dear friend of Glennis and mine in your prayers. Our friend Lori is going through a bit of a rough patch at the moment with some medical issues, and I just ask you all to keep her in your prayers. I know she would appreciate that. So thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you on Friday for the shout-outs and Groaner of the Week. Have a great week, everybody. God bless. Take care.